Alright guys, so we got this Rillaboom team here with the score and the glide. Played a few games with it. I don't know whose team it is. I plucked it off Joey's wall and modified it a bit. I think it's solid enough to get going. So webs. We'll play this game slightly differently in a way to account for figuring out these calcs. Because when I scan these teams, I'm like, well, I don't know how the IB's even Gliscor plus Empoleon, but maybe there's something I'm not aware of, and we're about to find out. So phase 1, activate the Toxic Orb. Right, I tend to see this particular sequence like I'll just sticky web regardless of what you have on your team. I don't care if you have a Cinderace. But as I said, I need to figure out, well, what's the, like, why do people do that? Is there something I'm missing here? You know, I have a whole Empoleon. Like, can Toxicity do something to Empoleon that I'm not aware of? It's the Draco, which does nothing. This is annoying. It could Sword Dance and things and such. I'll Toxic it and whatnot, but certainly annoying. Knockoff, interesting. So what now? Shown knockoff on my Gliscor, so you'd never go. I could see a case for a nasty plot. There's no real double he could make that punishes Empoleon. That's what I mean. Like, well, is it just a case where they're just clicking the button and thinking later? Which is 99% of players, but and we'll fix that. I have actually this morning I came up with something, not came up with, but on I thought I didn't have Roost for a sec. I uncovered something that is really critical for how to solve that, because that's a phenomenon I've noticed for quite some time. This could be what, like, I ain't fuck. Let's find out. I don't know what the fuck these Goldengos are running. I did consider Trick, which is why I hard switched instead of Surfing, because you know, I actually can't roar Goldengo, can I? So now he has to fear. Oh, he stays in to potentially have gotten killed. All right, so let me see. Rillaboom is all right. All right, Focus Blast. Okay. Okie doke. And so this is where things get interesting, because the Rabombe comes in. Sticky Web, Boom Blast. It could have. Let me think. T-Wave. It's a Choice Bandit Goldengo now. I don't even know how he beats Gliscor. Does he have Stun Spore? Yup. I don't know how he forces this out. Let's see. Just protect here as he likely either surfs or hard switches out. And Draco Meteor is very interesting. So Toxicity is gone. I don't even know why the fuck I'm looking at a Toxicity to begin with. So this is where bro's like, yo, I had enough. I'm going for Swords Dance. Yes, he still has the Moth. Let's run these calcs and see. He actually knocks again. Okay, no reason not to Toxic here. If Corviknight comes in, what is a Corviknight to a Gliscor? What can he do to me, right? We just patience this until I get the opportunity to Sticky Web. So Iron Defenses, so we're staring down Iron Defense, press. Which is funny because I actually can go Valiant and get a booster for special attack, which is a kill. One would assume that the Corviknight would now go for the body press this turn, anticipating my Cinderace. I guess I still get a speed boost. Interesting. I thought he has Brave Bird, but even if he has Brave Bird, it wouldn't be able to. One, he might. I was gonna say he would knock me out. That's actually not what I meant to say. I meant to say that he wouldn't. He might not be able to knock me out actually, because it's a roll on Valiant, but. I meant to say if he has Iron Defense, he has Body Press, which means that I don't have to Calm Mind because he's not doing that much damage to me, right? So, more offense, more offensive players. Yeah, this guy's almost 2,000, so this should be an easier game, right? Because as I've said a million times, there's a Rillaboom eats, but that's not what I said a million times. But it's trickier to read you don't have to read the person. You're supposed to actually set up the game plan in a way where ideally you don't have to. I don't have the knowledge enough of the meta yet, of what's exactly common. We're still sort of in a chaotic state to go like, okay, snap, 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 right? I haven't seen a Samurai in quite some time. I haven't seen an Enamorous. So it's like, okay, let's find out what I may be missing. And we're gonna break it down in a simple way of, all right, well, there's a Glamora, we know that much, right? We have core change. I wouldn't be in his best interest for T-Spikes to be up versus his particular build. And so, assuming the opponent is solid, what would he, I'd assume he'd account for these things, right? So, the Empoleon's key mission will be to check the Enamorous, and that's pretty much it. Valiant, very problematic for him if it goes in. Roaring Moon, very problematic for him if it goes in. Cinderace, court changing is a problem if it goes in. And so phase 1 would involve covering for the Samurai. I wouldn't be shocked to see a choice card Samurai, truth be told. If he were to allow, so it's Sash, cool. So Sash likely, I doubt Ceaseless Edge, perhaps, what's that move called? The fighting one. But yeah, we Rillaboom here. It does Ceaseless Edge, which means probably doesn't care too much about my Cinderace. Let's see if that's the case, right? Likely Lawrence Amazenta here. Opts for Gambit. Gambit here is either, I'd assume, a scout for, well, not the Gambit coming in, but the Gambit would scout for, well, my best bet here is always the Cinderace, even though, because I'd assume a double switch or a Katao. His leftover is Gambit, so high risk for him to get Will-O-Wisp burned here. Let me think, what's the downside of Will-O-Wisp being Enamorous? Yeah. We rocks first on the off chance. So Ogerpon is in, and now he can't switch into Moonblast for my Valiant, right? And so it's leftovers Gambit confirmed. Ogerpon probably just Power Whips. I could see a case for Play Rough. As I said, my Empoleon is low value. I'm actually gonna Roar here. If he Power Whips, so be it. The Ivy Cudgel's anticipating something. I'm actually really glad to see Zenta here, because I force out his defense boost. It's leftovers, so very likely substitute. Sorry, I'm thinking about whether or not I should Terra Empoleon. Terra Empoleon's actually mad useful. It does mean his Glamora can spin. So let's say he's sub. I'm used to having a Dragapult, so I'm like thinking about it from that way. I'm used to having a Dragapult. What's my worst case scenario? Him being what, Terra Steel and Iron Defensing and 1v1ing my Gliscor. That would be pretty rough. I know what I can do. So I can score first, body press this turn, reposition into Empoleon to check if he has substitute. If he has substitute, we found out. This allows for me to Roost then Roar. Right. I'll have to deal with the Glamora, but it is what it is. The I don't think he has, the fact that I stated last, I don't think he has Play Rough. I mean, if you use it, Power Whip Miss sucks. That really sucks. Now the Glamora, it's a potential problem. But you give up, let me think, U-turn. You give up Samurai, right? Yeah, it's for the Glamora, which gives him the opportunity to go for the Mortal Spin. But I'm actually going to get him to get the T-Spikes up on his Mortal Spin, because I'm gonna actually, oh damn, he has red card. That's cool, because I'm gonna be Cinderaceing those, and so it's gonna be in his best interest to never let my fucking Gliscor have its way. I mean my Cinderace have its way. So very likely a power gem sort of situation here. I'm very tempted to go for Toxic. He goes to Ogerpon. I was very tempted to Toxic there. The Ogerpon, I just need the core change. Ivy Cudgel will destroy me, obviously. But he might not have Play Rough. If he has Play Rough, he uses it here. But I always hard a Roaring Moon. Yeah, Cudgel, which is perfect. Because now if he goes back to lay Glamora, it gives me 2 turns to T-Spikes, right? Enamorous. Now the Enamorous could be Scarfed and go for what's his face? Because I said Valiant's becoming more and more dangerous by the moment. But the Glamora is still alive. So I'm really tempted to this is somewhat high risk, depending on how the opponent thinks. He stays in to Moonblast. That looks specs 36%. I'm not 100 on that actually. So I think you gotta be specs to do that much to me. 35, maybe not. Maybe not. I don't resist anymore actually. I'm tripping. The beauty of it is that competitive it's gonna be an interesting endgame. You're gonna see why. So I have to up the ante a bit. Blaze Pyro would 2-hit KO Glamora and one-shot Ogerpon. Actually wouldn't one-shot if he Terras. Terra is risky. Yeah, Glamora is the best mid-ground. I'm debating whether or not I want to get a T-Spike back up. I do. Since he's gonna Mortal Spin anyway, I can't stop it. I want him to have a T-Spike up. This puts him in a position where it's high risk going Ogerpon, but yeah, Enamorous makes sense. But the Ogerpon next turn does not. Which means that it's not that it doesn't make sense. Not in like there's no logic to it kind of making sense. Because it's really critical for me to have certain mons alive, particularly Cinderace. Because the Gambit, I don't know what the Terra could be, you know, all that stuff matters. Depending on what the Terra type is, it's gonna matter with my other mons remaining. So Ivy Cudgel did not knock me out. Alright, knockoff plus Tect. Enamorous, probably. That's too risky. It's too risky for him. So now he can go to Enamorous. Problem is that Empoleon eats. Empoleon's a bitch for him offensively. And now that that thing is gone, I can now go for Surf. I wouldn't be shocked to see him go for another. The Glamora comes in, which is blessed. I wonder what the fuck are these things running? Is it gonna Mortal Spin would mean Glamora's dead. Glamora's dead would mean what for me? Mortal Spin, Glamora dead would mean I'm staring down Gambit's Iron Head. Enamorous makes some sense. Azama is a crazy wild play. Wildest play of the day. I never in any reality expected Zamazenta there. Not Toxic here every time. Yeah, because he shouldn't. Bingo. That's what I needed. I needed him to bingo. And now we just EQ into his Terra type. Maybe Terra Flying. Would Terra Flying work? No, wouldn't be enough. That crit sucked. I don't think it would have changed anything because Valiant won from there. But yeah, that was a tricky one because at that point, once I forced the Terra, even if somehow he killed my Gambit, killed my Gliscor, there were several outs from there. I could go Cinderace, Court Change the T-Spikes back. So Gambit wouldn't take any damage. Let him KO Cinderace, go to Valiant, knock out the Gambit. Then he'd have to go Enamorous and get T-bolted and both lose to Empoleon, right? Excuse me. There were a couple of ways to go. I'd have to think about it a bit more. But everything on his team except the Gambit would have lost to Empoleon at that point, as well as my Rillaboom, if either of them took even a bit of damage. So it was a tricky game. Still a lot to learn from the meta. Every game brings new insights. Let's turn my flash on there. Interesting game. But as I said, the opponent's plays would have been, there's some rhyme and reason to it, because I know, man, I can't wait to share this game with y'all, man. There's this little secret, not even a little secret. It's not like those online marketers, but there's this formula that I uncovered very recently, actually part of it, the latter half of it this morning, that lines out every step of the way the brain goes through when it's looking at team preview, when it's processing a turn, all that stuff. And so what I've come to realize is players at the higher rungs of the ladder process all these things instantly without thinking about it automatically. Players at this level skip some of those steps. So let's say first step in any battle at the team preview phase is, do I know what all these Pokemon do on a regular basis within the metagame? If the answer is no, your brain is gonna stop right there. If you don't know what any of these do, you can't move any further. So assuming that, okay, I've seen a Gambit before, I've seen a Dragonite before, I've seen a Mob before, but then your brain allows itself to move to the point where, okay, have I matched up versus them before? Because you may know what it does on paper, but you don't know the calcs. And then so by the time you get to the planning part, if you don't have those other steps down, your brain's gonna short circuit. Which is why I take longer the more I'm unfamiliar with the metagame when I'm doing team preview. If I were to scan this really quickly, Valiant's dangerous, Empoleon for 1, potentially 2, Score for potentially 3. I mean, it depends. Score, you know, if this is a Ice Spinner Dragonite, it's no joke. So phase one's gonna involve boom. I processed a lot of things. The timer is going down, so I have to process a bunch of things. I just processed it out and go, all right, fuck it. I'll explain this as the game goes on. But Ice Spinner would invalidate my Rillaboom, which would make Grassy Glide a lot weaker, but this would have to be Sash. He does go D9. Attempted the U-turn there, but we have the Empoleon reposition. Plus, if he goes to, it could be in Long Rush though. Yeah, see? Yo, we not playing these games. He could fear Ice. That's quad resisted. He could fear the Ice Beam. This is a perfect opportunity to get, because I'm like, what is your counterplay? As I said, this is a key moment, right? So in a moment like this, let's say I had Ice Beam. This is a key thing. Let's say I said I'm gonna trade Dragonites for survival, because I know I'm gonna live the hit. So it says 70% on my Empoleon for 100% of the Dragonite. So, and there you go. Okay, well, I got a Pokemon in exchange for me still surviving. Well, then you have to ask yourself, let's say that's your only Iron Moss solution or your only Valiant solution. You actually lost value that trade, because now your Empoleon can't heal versus anything. So it's for the remainder of the game at 20%, right? So Ogerpon is tricky. But I'm a trickster. I don't want him terrestrializing and destroying me. I substitute, so that's even better, meaning I'm glad that I switched, because I thought about Toxicking. I completely ignored the fact that he could have gone for that move. So he's gonna go for the move that can hit, which is Ivy Cudgel. He's giving me a lot of data here. I doubt he'd go for, yeah. So this is wondrous. This is wonderful, because I know he can't touch me. I doubt that Dragonite has any, because I'm debating whether or not I should. Yeah, it's better to U-turn. Power Whip wouldn't have knocked me out, but the miss mattered, because now you lost one Pokemon for no damage, right? I can force the booster here, because at this point he really struggles with my Gliscor Terra Watered. Like, how does he beat it? Could force booster on something. I could Cinderace, forcing the booster on. I don't like Cinderace because maybe, I guess Roaring Moon does the same thing. I was gonna say it invites in his Great Tusk, which isn't that bad because I have the court change. But if this has Ice Spinner as well, right, it puts me in this position that I didn't need to be in. And if he has close combat. So this actually was not the best bet. Even if Cinderace came out. Because I didn't factor it for Ice Spinner, because my score isn't terra'd yet. Like, I'm thinking about it like I terra'd my Gliscor, but I didn't. Yeah, I put myself in an awkward position here. Okay then, fair enough. Ice Spinner won't kill me, but I put myself in an awkward position. He rocks. Okay, so I shouldn't have even been in that position to begin with. Yeah. And now things get ugly. Things get ugly. Things get ugly from here. Because the question is, what now? Right? He can't go hard. Moth. There's a case for Valiant. He can't go hard. Okay, so he just had long rushes, which low risk for me. People always protect this next turn. If I expected me to protect, what would I even? Moth, probably. Because protect. Well, if I go Moth, who gives a fuck? So yeah, see, I'm getting caught up in the sauce there. Valiant should not be able to knock me out with a Thunderbolt, so I'm gonna Toxic here. And the reason being is because even if you were to calm mine and boost up and all the things, I have a fucking Rillaboom. None of this matters. None of this matters at all. So we're gonna give up the Roaring Moonblast is the go-to choice. Actually, why did I go Cinderace? Actually, no, Cinderace made sense. Cinderace made sense. Let me think. If I Power Ball, his counterplay would be what? Extreme Speed. Or T-Bolt. Go for the kill instead. I actually did not expect to not get 2 KO'd. My bad, Ace. So I actually can survive any hit unless he goes to Moth. And once we force that Moth out, the Gliscor is king. Again, similar with the previous games, we want to make sure that I took a lot of unnecessary damage on my bro really fiery danced on a Cinderace. Wild things. It's not really that wild. It had some logic to it. Roost again because I actually didn't expect. Is it better to Rocks into Surf? I mean Rocks into Roar. Or is it better to Roar? If I Roar, I'm gonna get Dragonite, Gambit, or Tusk, all of which are not splendid matchups. But my Empoleon with Rocks up will be significantly lower than it is now. Does that matter? So he didn't get the boost, which actually makes this be the best play. Because I was thinking about, well, I can't court change because I end up at about 50. I get Great Tusk, which wasn't ideal. Wasn't the greatest thing in the world, but because Valiant's gonna have to come in at some point, right? I want a score to be so you can Headlong Rush. I didn't want to go Rillaboom. If you Ice Spinners, Rapid Spun, which is what I was hoping for. Because it allows for me to glide. I knew you wouldn't switch there. There's no way you're risking the Moth. But the issue is that the Moth no longer has the speed boost, right? And so Ace now outspeeds it, and Valiant now outspeeds it. So I shouldn't have went Ace. I get the Blaze boost, but I need to ensure that let me see. I need to ensure that I can revenge kill him with my Valiant. So the Power Ball versus the it's better to U-turn. I can see a case for him sludge waving because you don't want Empoleon coming in. Yeah. And now I can go for Surf. He gets a special attack boost, but as I said, Cinderace and Valiant don't care. So that's what Empoleon was on the team for. How much did U-turn do? 7%. I can't risk a miss. I guess Valiant doesn't need the speed, but let's see. Thunderbolt. It's not over. It's definitely not over, which is why I'm keeping Rillaboom and Cinderace so close to my heart, right? So I'd assume this is a Valiant Terra type that invalidates, or he's just going to go straight for the Iron Head. Yeah, okay. But it's not lefties, which implies Lum. And if it is Lum, then my player would be the Powerball. I mean, he knows I'm bulky. But if he's not Lum, what else could he be? He's 100% Lum. Let's think this through. What's my worst case scenario? Alum Terra Dark. Yes, I knew it. This fucker is Lum. And now I just will always straight up to cover for Dragon Dance. This doesn't really solve shit. Because it's fucking Dragonite. It's still a pain in the ass. But it solves shit in the sense that I can knock off and protect. Because I don't think he has... Dang, Glide Score use is disgusting. Stream speed does 36. Yeah, should DD again. But that was like I don't disagree with him extreme speeding there. I don't disagree with him extreme speeding there. Because if I don't protect and I predict, you lose. Right, so that was a turn of prediction. Very close games. As usual, Roaring Moon underwhelming as a motherfucker. In comparison to everyone else, right? It's very predictable. And versus these type of teams, Roaring Moon isn't the best. Booster Roaring Moon would be. But yeah. So hopefully y'all enjoyed. Hit the like button down below. Again, you guys have been killing it on that and I really appreciate that. I'll see you in the next one.